Welcome back. We are in Proverbs chapter 12, verse 4 today. So let's take a look. It says, the excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she who causes shame is like rottenness in his bones. Husbands want good wives, and it helps us to have good wives if we put the work in ourselves and create an environment where our wives can be good, where we are kind and considerate and helpful to our wives. And it's kind of like, when you plant a garden. If you plant a vegetable garden, you're not going to throw your vegetable seeds out in the rocks, right, or out in the road. You're going to have good soil. You're going to bring soil in to amend the soil that you have. You're going to fertilize. You're going to do all that stuff and irrigate just so you can have good crops. Is the plant going to grow? Possibly. We don't have any control over how the plant grows or how much the plant produces. But what we do is we try to make the soil and the environment the best that we can so that it can produce the best of its potential. And we need to think about that with our wives as well. If we are nice to our wives and kind to our wives and encouraging and supporting our wives, then they have the opportunity to grow into the best wife that they can be. And if we're mean or harsh or ignoring them, then that's like throwing our seeds into the rocky soil or on the path. And yeah, it's possible that God can work in spite of all of that in her heart and nurture her himself so that she will be a wonderful wife. But most likely, our wives are going to react poorly to those situations. So we need to do the best that we can to help our wives be the best that they can be, so that they can come alongside us and minister with us and share the love of God with us. And they can only do that if they have everything they need. And so if you have a wife because you think she will fulfill your needs, then you're going to have a rocky marriage, because if you come into the marriage selfishly, it never turns out well. She can never fulfill what you want her to do, because we always want more. Every time we're looking to get something and we get it, we're like, okay, that's great, I'm happy now, but then tomorrow there has to be more. It can't just be today and that's it. But if you come into a marriage seeing how you can help fulfill her needs and her desires, it'll teach her to come into that marriage with the same attitude, to come and fulfill your needs and your desires. Then it'll be a happy marriage, because both of you are working hard at trying to please the other one instead of trying to be pleased yourself. Before we get to verse 5, Solomon had 1,000 wives. I think he experienced both sides. I think he had some wives that are good. He's like, oh, I love showing this one off. And he had some that were like not as good. He's like, man, this wife stinks. She's like rottenness to my bones. Because it was 1,000 women. It was 700 wives and 300 concubines. But concubine is like a wife, just without the title. So really, it's 1,000 wives, and I don't think that was the wisest thing for the wisest man to have done. Verse 5 says, the thoughts of the righteous are right, but the counsels of the wicked are deceitful. So if you're a righteous person, your thoughts are going to be right. They're going to be alongside all of your actions and all of your words, and they're going to be good. But anything a wicked person tells you is deceitful. They might pretend they're being good, but really they're out to manipulate you. And I think to all those stories in the book of Daniel and the book of Esther, in the days of old when the king had counselors, and the counselors tricked the king into making a law that really wasn't a good law in the first place. But they're like, oh, you should make this law just so they could get back at Daniel or get back at Mordecai or something like that. And even though they were smart, wicked men, they weren't wise, they weren't righteous, they didn't put it to good use. They used it for their own benefit. And so you have to be careful around wicked people, because anything they tell you to do, probably they have an agenda. And I can't think of a place where that's more true than our current political system. And when you listen to the news and who you're going to vote for, think, well, what's this guy trying to get at? What's his agenda? Is he wise or is he wicked? And make your voting decisions based off of that. And prayer, of course, so that you know what God wants you to do. God bless you, and have a good day.